Guys, what is going on? I hope you guys are well. So, guys, I saw a boxing scene article. Took a read of it. Canelo Alvarez is backing Anthony Joshua to stop Tyson Fury late in that fight. He expects Anthony Joshua's improving fight on fight. You know, he's a power puncher. He says he's improving every time he sees him fight. And he feels that in the late rounds, AJ will grind Fury down and stop him. A lot of people wanted to know my opinion, and to be honest with you, a lot of people have been giving me criticism and saying I'm an AJ hater. I just say it how it is. I haven't got anyone. I haven't got no horse in the race here. I'm not a fan of. I like both. I'm gonna say a fan of both, but I've not got a horse in the race. I'm not like biased towards any of these two guys. Like, there's no reason for me to hate on AJ or hate on Tyson Fury. I just look at it from an even point of view. I see it from an even standpoint, and I'm not hating on Joshua. When I give my opinions, it's just what I feel. Now, I will say this, that a lot of people are saying, oh, Tyson Fury's resume is not great. Tyson Fury's got weaknesses. He has got weaknesses. Tyson Fury gets hit with a shot, he goes down. Tyson Fury hasn't got the greatest resume in the world. And the reason why Anthony Joshua, the reason why you become underrated as a fighter, and I've mentioned this of a fighter that I am a fan of, Amir Khan, is the fact that that man fought 16 former world champions, or 16 former world champions, right? And he beat 11 of them, but he got beat by a couple of them as well. What happens when you're fighting stiff competition like that? And there's no British fighter that's fought 16 world champions, by the way, that Khan has currently active right now and beaten 11. Khan's beaten more former world champions than any British fighter of current. You know why he's underrated and why people call him glass chin and this, that? You know why he's underrated? And Joshua's got kind of same. Although Joshua's only lost one, and although he's been hurt and wobbled, you know why he's underrated? Because he fought so many top contenders. He fought so many, not contenders, world champions, so many top fighters. And when you fight top fighters, you know what happens? You get exposed. Your weaknesses show. And that's the same with Joshua. Is the fact that Joshua has got weaknesses. They're clear weaknesses that we can all see. And in the fight, when you're fighting stiff competition like Joshua does back to back, they get exposed when you're fighting tough competition. And that's why when we see vulnerability on Joshua, right, we see vulnerability. Now, Tyson Fury's had 3 fights against, I would say, top level. He fought Wilder twice, and he fought Klitschko. In the Klitschko fight, he completely dominated Klitschko, and Klitschko was just, he didn't throw a punch. In the 2 Wilder fights, the first Wilder fight, Tyson Fury got dropped twice in that fight. And in the second Wilder fight, Fury was in better shape and he dominated. Fair enough, he came with a game plan and executed. I think Wilder was a little off. He didn't perform that great. But Wilder also hasn't got the greatest boxing skills. But I think Wilder that night, I don't think he was on his best form. But Fury was, and Fury was excellent. And I think Fury would beat Wilder. And a lot of people think that I'm going off those 2 fights of Wilder, not just Wilder, but Klitschko, and thinking that's what beats. That's why I'm overrating. I'm overrating Tyson Fury. I'm forgetting to look at what happened with Wallin. I'm forgetting what happened with Cunningham. Firstly, Fury in those type of fights, Fury, I don't know whether he's motivated to what he would be when he fights someone like AJ. Those fights, I feel the big fights and the lights and the attention, the media brings the best out of Tyson Fury. And I feel Tyson Fury has managed to convince everybody. Like, I think Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. But he's managed to convince everybody when he hasn't really fought the competition that AJ's fought. And as I just explained earlier, when you fight top competition after top competition after top competition, you become underrated. And the reason why you become underrated, because you're fighting better men that are bringing out your weaknesses, right? Fury, for me, he's fought the 2 best in this era, in Klitschko and Wilder. But Joshua has got a better resume where he's fought more top 10 guys. Now, I don't rate the guy. Like, I'm not saying I think Joshua's resume is unbelievable. He's fought more better guys than what Fury has. But again, Vladimir was 41. Povetkin was 38, 39. Pulev was 39. Parker, for me, not an elite guy. Ruiz, not an elite guy. These are good world-class fighters, but not elite level fighters. Like, for me, the three best heavyweights are Wilder, Fury, and Joshua. And Wilder and Joshua is a fight that I want to see in the future. It's an epic fight. Irrespective of what people say about Wilder, it's a fight that I want to see and a fight that I always want to see. And honestly, stylistically, I want to see that fight more than I want to see Fury, Joshua. I think it's a better fight. I think it's a more dynamite fight. I think it's an explosive fight. I think somebody goes to sleep in that fight. And what really annoys me is the fact that a lot of British fans have just switched off Wilder and just thinking he's a bum. Just, oh, he fought nobody, he's this, that. Come on, man. Everybody knows Wilder's legit. And if Wilder hits you, you're gone. You're asleep, right? Wilder's power's overrated. It's not. It's not overrated, believe me. If he hits AJ with that right hand, it's game over. And he's got more chance of hitting AJ with that right hand than he has with Fury, because Fury's very elusive. Now, AJ is being overlooked and he is being underestimated by a lot of Fury fans and by a lot of the British public. And Fury is rightfully the favourite, and I do pick Fury by late stoppage in the fight if he fights Joshua. But again, we're underestimating what Joshua's done. Joshua's fought a lot of better guys, and like I said, he's underrated because of the fact that he's fought better men. Right? He's fought better men, and when you fight better men, you're more exposed. And with Joshua's weaknesses, because Joshua has got stamina issues. It's quite clear he's struggled. Like, he does have endurance problems, especially when he put punches together. He tires. Also, his chin is suspect. When he gets hit with a shot, he does fall over. And not so much his chin, it's the way his body reacts to taking a punch. His body stiffens up, and it takes him ages to recover. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, recovers very quickly, right? But again, I'll say it again, all of these things are because AJ's fighting better competition. If AJ was fighting Otto Wallin, Tom Schwartz, then these vulnerabilities that AJ has won't be showing, and we wouldn't see it, and we'd think AJ's a beast. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So when you fight better competition, right, you get exposed. There's more vulnerabilities that show. There's more weaknesses that show. Like I said to you, there's no British fighter. And you, all of you that have been following my channel for a while, know that I'm an Amir Khan fan. That's the only guy that I have an emotional interest with. Everyone else, I give my honest opinion. He's got the best resume in British boxing. Khan has. He's got the best resume in terms of the fighters he's fought, beat. If you look at his whole package resume, his resume is unbelievable. But he's probably the most underrated and probably the most disrespected. Some of it could be the fact from his background, etc., whatever, yeah. But a lot of it, when it comes from a boxing point of view, is because of the fact that when you fight better competition, you get exposed, you get put down, you become underrated. And that's where Joshua is right now. He's become underrated because of the fact that Joshua's fighting top competition after top competition after top competition. And he got knocked out by Ruiz, right? And after the Ruiz fight, he hasn't looked convincing it like he was before. You know, a lot of people thought, I remember Gareth Davies saying against Pulev, saying that, he let Pulev back in the fight. People kind of now look at Joshua and see him vulnerable. But that's because Joshua fights top competition. Now, if he fights Usyk next fight and gets knocked down or loses, he's fighting a top fighter. Whereas Fury's fighting, they were talking about him fighting Caballero. So that's the difference here. Fury's not fighting stiff competition back to back to back to back. That takes a lot out of you, by the way. When you're fighting stiff competition like Joshua is in the top 10 back to back to back to back, it takes a lot out of you. Now, I give Joshua that respect for stepping up and fighting good fights, good world-class fighters back to back. Not elite fighters, by the way. I don't think Ruiz is elite. I don't think Parker is elite. I don't think these guys are good world-class fighters and top contenders in the heavyweight era today. They're a lot better than Jerick Chisora. They're a lot better than, Steve Cunningham, the guys that Fury's been in the ring with. But Fury has fought, in my opinion, two of the guys. One guy, Klitschko, who was undefeated for, what, 11 years before he beat him. And Wilder, who was a 5-6 year WBC reigning champion, who was a knockout artist, who we all have to accept is a knockout artist, right? However, even though I give AJ that respect, he's got a better resume, he's done this, I still favor Tyson Fury in the fight. Because I think Tyson Fury's skill level, Tyson Fury's boxing ability, Tyson Fury's stamina and endurance to be able to go 12 rounds, Tyson Fury's ability to, not so much chin because he does get put down, but Tyson Fury's ability to recover from a punch, I favor him in the fight. Now, a lot of you call me biased or saying that I'm an AJ hater. Anyone that picks against AJ is going to be considered an AJ hater, right? But I've broken it down for you in the sense that not an AJ hater. I respect his resume, respect everything. It's just that I just think that Tyson Fury, from what I've seen so far, will beat him. But that's not me being a hater. I just think Tyson Fury's very big. He's physically very strong. He's got a lot of physical advantages over AJ. He can make the fight very dull and boring and frustrate AJ. Walk AJ onto a punch. He's also very quick and very sharp. Yes, AJ has better skills than Wilder, and he'll be able to set those shots up a lot better than Wilder was. He has a lot more. He has a lot better boxing ability than Wilder. But I just think AJ's too. I mean, I just think Fury's too fast, too elusive. That's my honest opinion. I think he'll frustrate AJ, and eventually AJ will tire towards the back end of the fight. And Fury wouldn't knock him out cold or knock him out, like when I say knockout, I mean stop him. Where I feel like AJ will get tired and Fury will start unleashing punches like he did with Wilder, and I think the referee will stop. That's how I envisage the fight. Now, would it shock me if AJ knocks Fury out? No. I don't see him knocking Fury out, but it wouldn't be a shock. You know, Fury's been put down by Cunningham. He's been put down by Wilder. He's been put down, you know, he's been put down by, didn't he get put down by Pikage as well? So, Nevin Pikage, was it? You know, who a lot of people thought beat him, by the way. So, I'm not hating on AJ. I'm just giving you my honest opinion on what I think is going to happen in the fight. Just like, you know, people that are picking AJ, you could say that they're Tyson Fury haters if that's how you look at it. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I respect AJ's resume. I respect what he's doing. The fact that he's fighting top competition back to back to back. Something that Fury needs to do. Fury needs to, I don't want to see Fury fight cap. We need to see Fury fight top competition after top competition. Even if Fury beats AJ, that's a great resume. He beat Wilder, Klitschko, Joshua, and but it's still not, he's not fighting all the best guys. Like, I want to see him fight 10, 11 of the top contenders of today. But Fury doesn't seem to do that. He just seems to fight the top guys and then just fight lower level. I don't know why he does that. We need to see Fury in there with the Povetkins, with, you know, with the Ortizes, with the Dylan Whites, with the Ruizes, with the, you know, guys like that. Whereas Fury doesn't give us those fights. With Usyk, you know, with guys like that we see back-to-back stiff competition. You know, and we don't seem to get that stiff competition back-to-back with Tyson Fury as we do with AJ, and AJ deserves massive respect for that. However, when we're talking about a fight, just because somebody's got a better resume, that doesn't necessarily mean that I think he's going to win the fight. You know, styles make fights. Also, I think Fury's very skillful. So again, I think it's a fight that wouldn't shock me if AJ pulls it off, but I am heavily picking Tyson to win the fight just because of what I've seen so far. And maybe I might also be a victim of a guy that's underrating AJ's skills and ability and all of those things because of the fact that AJ's fought better competition, you know? But I'm just giving you my opinion. That's it. It's not hating on anybody. I'm giving you my opinion on what I think is going to happen in the fight. But anyway, I'm pretty sure some of you will have differing opinions. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll comment back like I always do. Leave your thoughts, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.